just finishing up a little bottle opener. Part of what I refer to as the Blacksmith's Challenge. It's the title of today's video. And what is it and what does it mean? No, you're not going to get a bucket of ice water dumped on your head. You don't have to do 100 push-ups or climb a bunch of stairs. This is about challenging yourself to think like a blacksmith. Well, the challenge is really quite simple. It's all about thinking like a blacksmith. And here's what we start with. This is the whole challenge. It's a piece of 1/2-inch square bar, 3 inches long. That's the heart of it right there. And that's what this bottle opener started off as. This is something that I saw in a blacksmithing newsletter 15 or 20 years ago, and I don't remember what organization it was, one of the small local clubs that I just happened to get a newsletter. It wasn't one I actually belonged to, I don't believe. But it's a very simple concept. Use your imagination, take a small piece of bar, a known size, same size every time. So here I'm using 1/2 by 1/2 by 3 inches. And think of something. What can you make out of that? But think like a blacksmith. If you're a welder, think like a welder. But if you're here because you want to learn blacksmithing, let's think like a blacksmith. Hot forging, punching, drifting, slitting, drawing out, upsetting, all those skills that are unique to the blacksmith. And what can you make? And I'll show you a few things I've made, and then I'll offer a couple of suggestions of what I think you could do as early starting projects. So it's a pretty small piece of material. This is a simple thing. You can do it as a warm-up in the morning. Just come up with a little project. Some of them are going to take you 5 minutes. Some of them are going to take you an hour. Just think about it and come up with an idea. Maybe you want to just practice a technique. Maybe what you want to do is cut it in half and forge weld it back together. You may not be able to tell that was forge welded, but that's what that one is. Very simple. Maybe you want to do a square upset corner just to illustrate the technique or practice that technique. Very small piece of material. Probably you've got this laying in your scrap heap and you're not wasting anything by trying it. Draw it out to a point. Maybe put a twist in it, or do several with twists in them. Always hard to figure out where to put these to make sure they're all on the camera. There's a split twist. This was split 4 ways. Yeah, down both all 4 sides till it was split open, and then it was twisted. So those are some simple techniques. Maybe you want to make something just a little bit more difficult. A split cross. How about a decorative bolt? All forged out of a single piece of 1/2-inch square bar, 3 inches long. So that's the challenge. Thinking like a blacksmith, what can you make out of this? There are so many possibilities. You can do little scrolls. Maybe we could do a forged ring that was split down the middle and forged out round. You saw me making a bottle opener, and I'll show that to you after it's cool at the end of the video. But what do I think is a good place to start? If you are a beginning blacksmith and you need an excuse to get into the shop and you need to practice, I think you should start with simple tapers. That would be my suggestion anyways. So I would mark off your piece of bar. And I think it's okay to leave this on a handle as long as you only use 3 inches of it in the long run and then cut it off the handle when you're done. That just makes your life easier. That's just fine. Now this is an audience participation concept. This isn't just what you could recommend that I make, although you're welcome to throw some things out in the comments. But this is something, take to your shop, work on it in your shop. By the way, the scribe, 3 inches of 1/2 by 1/2 tool steel. Same size material, just a different, not mild steel, but it was tool steel. And then I would mark this so you know where to cut it later. And that gives you your 3 inches that you're going to actually work with. Oh, and by the way, this little cold chisel started off as a piece of 1/2 by 1/2 bar, 3 inches long. So now I've got a mark that I'll be able to find when I'm all done. And I've actually got 3 of these. So what I'm going to start with, and this is for the people who are still learning to forge, just got your forge, your anvil, your hammer, you're still a little rough on some of the techniques, this is a great place to start. We're just going to draw 3 tapers. We're going to draw a flat taper, leave it a 1/2 inch wide, see how long it stretches. We're going to draw a square taper all the way out to a square point, or to a sharp point, but keeping the bar square. See how long that stretches. And we're going to draw out a round point. Square, then octagon, then round to get the round point. So we'll do those 3. That's today's project, and I'll show you the bottle opener when we're done. And then later we're going to do some other stuff. So we have this still attached to the bar, that we know we're going to cut the 3 inches off. I want a parallel taper. I'm going to start by working right at the point. And then work it back. Take it right up to the joint there where you're going to cut it. Remember to work right up to the edge so you're not banging your anvil. Keep it at 1/2 inch. marketed under the name Smithing Magician. I don't know if it's still available or not, but they're fairly simple to make. So we got that cut off. There's our round taper, square, octagon, round. I'm going to finish rounding up the end because it was still attached to the square bar. It's still kind of square. That octagon, and then we'll square it, octagon and round is already square. And try and straighten the whole thing out. Straighten this one cold. So there's our round taper. Our square taper. And our parallel-sided taper. So let's go back to the bench. Remember, we started off with 3 inches, and our tapers are considerably longer, and that's why I think this is a good exercise. For our flat taper, we're still 1/2 inch square at the end, and we are 5.5 inches long. I think that probably could have stretched a little more. I think all of these in a perfect taper would be a hair longer, but this is a good way to start learning how much material moves. It's one of the reasons I think this is a good challenge. Square taper, still 1/2 inch long, and we are a little over 8 inches, 1/2 inch square and a little over 8 inches long, and the round taper is 9.25 inches long. So that's really quite a dramatic size change in each of these from the 3 inches we started with. I really think that as a beginner, just drawing tapers is a very good exercise. It teaches hammer control and gives you an idea of what your material will do. In a lot of ways, that's what the whole Blacksmith's Challenge idea is about. It's not competing with anybody, it's challenging yourself to explore blacksmithing. It's what can you do with simple materials and basic tools and equipment. The sky's the limit. Your imagination is what decides this. And knowing how much material moves, knowing that a 3 inch bar can be over 8 inches long when you draw it to a taper, or that it'll spread a certain amount if you want to make a leaf out of it. This is where blacksmithing gets its strength. This is what makes blacksmithing so unique in the world. Most other crafts, except perhaps pottery, have to start with a defined amount and work within that amount, removing material. It's a waste process. Machining, woodworking, it's about taking material away and getting rid of it in many cases. Blacksmithing is about rearranging that material. You don't have to start with a great big bar to make a square corner. You can bend it and make a square corner. You can make a circle. You can do all these scrolls and twists. And yes, we can make a bottle opener. And I promised you we'd show you a little bit about the bottle opener, so here's a real quick slideshow. Not a step-by-step. Later I think we'll just do a video on how to make a bottle opener, but for now, take a look. The bottle opener starts as 1/2 by 1/2 by 3 inches long and is spread out to 1/4 by 3/4 by about 4.5 inches long. The length isn't vital. A hole is punched at the end. This could also be slot punched. The slug is knocked out, and then the hole is enlarged over the horn of the anvil. I'm sorry I didn't get a picture of that step. The bottle opener is finished with a little tab that catches under the lip, and here's the finished bottle opener. Thanks. So there was our bottle opener, made from 1/2 inch square, 3 inches long. Completely functional, useful item. These don't just have to be little samples that you keep in a little tin box like this. As I've said, I think this is an excellent thing for new blacksmiths. Blacksmiths just looking for something to do in the shop. If you're a hobbyist and looking for some inspiration on what to do. It's also a great way for experienced smiths to explore new techniques, perhaps do test pieces to see how much material they might need for another project. Just have fun with it. And remember to share your work. I'm going to use a hashtag on Instagram, hashtag blacksmithchallenge. You can use the same hashtag on Facebook, and that way we can all take a look. It's audience participation. Now when we talk about the new smith, now, new blacksmiths seem to like a couple of things. One thing they like is coil springs. And I understand it, they're usually free. They're pretty good steel for a lot of stuff, but they're not 1/2 inch square by 3 inches long. Well, forge it out to 1/2 inch square by 3 inches long. You're a blacksmith, you can do that. This is one coil, and I've already made a couple of tools off of that piece of spring. In fact, I've got another thing here I'll show you that's made from that spring. Blacksmiths love spring steel. Use your spring steel. It's the size, the starting point, that is the key to the challenge, not the material. Use W1 tool steel if you want to. That's what this is made out of. If you like forging bronze, forge bronze. That's okay. Heck, even if you're a woodworker, take a piece of 1/2 by 1/2 by 3 inch piece of wood and see what you can cut it up into and rejoin it into. Make something. Something else, though, that new blacksmiths are these things. Now, I wouldn't forge that down into 1/2 inch square. I don't think railroad spikes are very good steel. But you can take your 1/2 inch square piece of coil spring that you forged out, and you can make a railroad spike. And what can we make with a railroad spike? Maybe that's where we'll go next time, and we will explore the Blacksmith's Challenge. This started off 1/2 by 1/2 by 3 out of old coil spring, and we'll make something else out of it. In the meantime, I've got some tools to grind so I can make some different hammerite wrenches so we can get back to working on our hammer. And I'm started on the dust collector for the grinding room, and I need to get that finished, so we'll do another video there pretty quick. So, head out to the shop, Go make something, share it on social media, make a video of it on YouTube, do whatever, but have fun doing it. This is a good little project. I think you'll enjoy it. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and we'll see you later. Have fun.